What if you could, like, seriously boost your English listening and speaking fluency?
Hmm.
And I mean, do it in just 3 months.
Mm.
It sounds, well, pretty bold, right?
Hmm.
Maybe even a bit like a linguistic miracle.
It does sound ambitious.
But what if it's less about magic and more about, methodical habits, habits backed by science?
Okay, now that sounds more plausible.
Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take the sources you share with us, really dig into them, and pull out the most useful, impactful bits of knowledge.
Looking forward to it.
Today, our mission is to unpack this really fascinating guide you sent over, Mastering English, 10 Daily Habits for Fluency.
Ah, yes, that one. Very interesting approach.
And the goal here isn't chasing some kind of, perfection. It's about getting functionally fluent, feeling confident, and doing it through consistent, smart effort.
Functional fluency. That's a great way to put it. More realistic, more useful for most people.
Exactly. So we're going to distill the absolute best strategies from this guide. And these aren't just random tips. They're apparently rooted in how our brains actually learn languages, cognitive science stuff.
Right, the underlying mechanisms.
Yeah, designed to kind of rewire your brain, get you thinking, listening, and speaking in English way more easily than maybe you thought possible.
Sounds good.
So, are you ready to dive deep into the science and the daily routines that could genuinely transform your English journey in just, well, a quarter of a year?
Let's do it. It's a really compelling promise, that 3-month idea. And what I find interesting is that it's not just a random number they pulled out of thin air.
Right, it's not just marketing.
No, exactly. It seems to be pretty well grounded in the scientific understanding of how our brains learn and adapt. Think about brain plasticity.
Okay.
Neuroscience research, especially the work people have done looking at how infants learn language, but also adults, it shows our brains are incredibly adaptable. They can really reorganize themselves to handle new linguistic patterns even when we're older.
So that whole critical period idea, that kids learn languages way easier, it's not the whole
Well,
story.
yes and no. Kids often do seem to pick things up more effortlessly. Maybe their brains are just wired differently at that stage. But the key takeaway is that adults absolutely retain a significant capacity for language learning.
Oh.
We don't lose the ability. We just might need, a more structured, conscious approach to really tap into that brain flexibility.
Okay, that makes sense. It's less about a window closing permanently and more about needing the right key, maybe, a different strategy.
Exactly. It shifts the focus from I can't learn anymore to how can I learn effectively now, which is much more empowering.
Definitely.
And this idea of structured, high-impact effort that connects directly to the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. Like 80% of your results come from 20% of your effort.
Precisely.
Oh.
And when you apply that to learning English, it's a really powerful strategic insight. It suggests that instead of trying to do absolutely everything, all the grammar, all the vocab, all at once, you get much better results, faster results, by focusing on the vital few activities.
Which are?
Primarily, lots of listening to real, authentic English and consistent practice actually speaking the language. Those seem to be the high-impact 20%.
Okay, so focus your energy. Don't just spin your wheels trying to cover everything.
Exactly. It's about optimizing your effort for the biggest return on your time, making every minute count toward actual fluency.
That feels way less overwhelming, especially for people looking at like giant grammar books or endless vocabulary lists.
It really does simplify things. And then there's the consistency part. You mentioned the 3-month time frame again. Well, that also aligns really well with the science of how we form habits. There was some important research done a while back showing that on average, it takes somewhere between, say, 66 and 90 days for a new behavior to become automatic.
66 to 90 days, so roughly 3 months.
Right. About 3 months of doing something consistently is often enough for it to move from being this conscious, effortful thing to becoming an ingrained habit, something you do almost without thinking. It provides a kind of scientific backing for why that 12-week period can be so effective for establishing these new English routines.
That's super encouraging. It gives you a clear target, not just for fluency, but for actually building the habit itself, which feels more concrete somehow.
It does. It makes the process feel finite and achievable in that sense.
The guide, it seems to ground its approach in a couple of really core ideas about language learning, right? The foundations of why these habits should work.
Yes, absolutely. These are sort of the pillars of a lot of modern language acquisition theory. The first big one is the input hypothesis.
Input, like what you hear and read.
Exactly. The idea is that we acquire language best when we're exposed to what's called comprehensible input. That means English that's just slightly beyond our current level. slightly beyond. Like,
Oh,
not totally easy, but not impossible either.
precisely. Often called I+1, I being your current level, plus one step up. If it's too easy, you're bored, you don't learn. If it's way too hard, you just get lost and frustrated.
Okay.
But that sweet spot, the I+1, challenges you just enough. You understand most of it, but you encounter new words, new structures, and you can often figure them out from the context. Your brain absorbs the patterns.
So it's about stretching yourself, but gently, not snapping the elastic band.
Hey, good analogy, yes. And complementing that is the output hypothesis.
Output, so speaking and writing.
Exactly. While getting that comprehensible input is vital for understanding, the output hypothesis argues that actively producing language, actually speaking or writing it, is just as crucial, maybe even more so, for developing real fluency.
Why is that?
Because when you try to speak or write, you're forced to actively use the language. You have to recall words, apply grammar rules, think about pronunciation. You test your understanding.
Ah, okay. It forces you to engage differently. Right. It's an active process. You're pushing your own boundaries, trying to make yourself understood. That struggle, that effort, really strengthens the neural connections. It moves knowledge from passive recognition to active, usable skill.
It's like you can read about swimming all day long, understand the theory, but you only really learn when you jump in the pool and start trying to move your arms and legs, right?
Yeah.
Even if you splash around awkwardly at first.
Perfect analogy. That's exactly it. It's the doing that cements the learning. So when you put all this together, the brain's adaptability, the 80-20 focus, the science of habit formation, and these core ideas about input and output, you can really see why these 10 daily habits the guy proposes could be so transformative.
Okay, this is great. With that scientific backing, it feels much less like guesswork and more like a strategy. So let's really dig into these 10 habits. They sound practical, manageable, like 15 to 30 minutes a day. That's doable for most people.
Absolutely. It's designed to be sustainable.
Let's start with habit number 1. What's the cornerstone?
The first, and arguably one of the most fundamental, is to listen actively to authentic English for 15 minutes daily.
Active listening.
Okay. This directly taps into that input hypothesis we just talked about. The core idea is to consistently feed your brain real, natural English, not textbook dialogues, but how people actually speak.
Right. The raw material.
Exactly. By listening consciously, you train your ear not just for words, but for the rhythm, the intonation, the flow of natural speech. You start picking up how vocabulary is used in context. It's like learning the music of the language, not just the notes.
Okay, but how do we do that actively? Because just putting on the radio in the background, that's not quite it, is it?
No, definitely not passive listening. The guide emphasizes choosing content you actually find interesting. That's key for staying engaged.
Makes sense.
So maybe it's podcasts designed for learners, like BBC's The English We Speak, or general interest ones. YouTube channels are great too. There are loads teaching English, or just channels on topics you like, or even TV shows like Friends or The Office, known for their conversational style.
So find something you enjoy. And then what?
Then choose something that's at that I+1 level, slightly challenging, but not overwhelming. Use headphones if you can to really focus. And here's the crucial part. Focus on grasping the overall meaning. Don't stop and translate every single word you don't know.
That's a big one. It's easy to get bogged down.
It really is.
Yeah.
Try to infer the meaning from the context, the tone, the situation. If someone says they're over the moon, figure out they mean really happy from how they say it, not by looking up moon. You're building intuition.
Okay, build intuition. Don't just translate word for word. Got it. Is there a way to level this up? An advanced technique?
Yes, there is. It's called shadowing.
Shadowing. Like being someone's shadow.
Kind of.
That's right.
Towards the end of your listening time, maybe the last 5 minutes or so, you listen to a phrase or sentence and then immediately repeat it aloud, trying to mimic the speaker exactly.
Mimic everything. Pronunciation, rhythm.
Everything. The pronunciation, the rhythm, the ups and downs of their voice, the stress patterns. So if you hear, "It's a real game changer," you pause and say, "It's a real game changer," focusing on hitting the same notes.
Wow. Okay. That sounds challenging, but really effective.
It is. It connects your ear directly to your mouth, helps tune your vocal muscles to the sounds of English, and makes your own speech sound much more natural over time. It really boosts phonetic memory.
Can you give me a concrete example? Like, how would I actually do this step by step?
Sure. Let's say you choose a short podcast episode about idioms. You're listening and you hear the phrase, "spill the beans." You jot it down, figure out it means reveal a secret.
Okay.
Active listening part done. Now, for the reinforcement, later that day, you deliberately use it. Maybe you think to yourself, I almost spilled the beans about the party. Or you practice saying it in a sentence. This active recall, using it soon after hearing it, really helps lock it into your memory. It makes it your word, not just one you recognized.
Right, moving it from passive understanding to active use. I like that. Okay, that leads nicely into habit number 2, which is all about active use. Speak aloud to yourself for 10 minutes daily. This one might feel a bit weird to some people, talking to yourself.
It might feel strange at first, yeah. But it's incredibly powerful. This is where the output hypothesis really shines. By actually speaking, even just to the walls, you force your brain to do the hard work of language production.
Like retrieving words, figuring out grammar on the fly.
Exactly. Recalling vocabulary, applying grammar, working on pronunciation all at once. This strengthens those pathways for fluent speech. But maybe even more importantly, it creates a totally safe space.
Safe space? How so?
No judgment, no audience. You can experiment, make mistakes, correct yourself, try out different ways of saying things, all without feeling embarrassed or anxious. That language anxiety is a huge blocker for so many people.
Oh, absolutely. The fear of sounding stupid.
Right. Speaking to yourself eliminates that fear. It's your private language lab. You build confidence quietly.
So how do you actually do it? Just narrate your life for 10 minutes.
Pretty much. The guide suggests just describing what's around you, what you're doing, or what you're thinking. Like, if you're making breakfast, okay, I'm getting the eggs out, need to crack them carefully. Now, whisking the eggs. Simple stuff.
Or walking down the street. The sun is shining, lots of people walking today. That dog is very fluffy.
Exactly like that. Start simple. Don't worry about perfect grammar initially. Just get the words flowing. Fluency first. Then accuracy refinements can come. Gradually add more complex sentences as you feel more comfortable.
Okay, just start talking. Break the silence. What about an advanced tip for this one?
Record yourself.
Ooh. Okay, listen back.
Yep. Use your phone, just a simple voice memo app. Record your 10 minutes of self-talk. Later, listen back critically.
What am I listening for?
You're listening for things like pronunciation errors you keep making. Awkward phrasing that doesn't sound quite natural, grammar mistakes, like maybe you keep forgetting articles saying, I go to store instead of I go to the store.
Ah, I see. So you become your own coach.
Exactly. That self-reflection, identifying your own patterns, is incredibly effective for improving accuracy. You spot your specific weak points and can consciously work on them.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Maybe you're narrating your evening routine. I am watching TV. The show is funny. I feel sleepy. You record it. Listening back, you might notice you pronounced sleepy with the wrong vowel sound. You can then look up the correct pronunciation, practice it, and try to get it right next time. It's that cycle. Speak, record, listen, correct.
That makes a lot of sense. Targeted self-correction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, habit number 3. Use an English-to-English dictionary. Why is this better than just using a bilingual one? Seems faster to just get the translation.
It seems faster in the moment, but it actually slows down your fluency development in the long run.
How so?
Because using an English-to-English dictionary forces your brain to stay in English mode. You look up an unknown word, and the definition is in English using words you likely already know.
Ah, okay. No switching back and forth.
Right. You're building direct connections between the English word and its meaning, its concept, entirely within the English language network in your brain. Bilingual dictionaries create an extra step English word to native word to concept. It's less efficient and reinforces translation habits.
So you're training your brain to think in English right from the vocabulary level.
Exactly. It helps break that mental crutch of constantly translating in your head, which is a major barrier to thinking and speaking fluently. Cognitive studies actually back this up. Monolingual dictionary use boosts retention and understanding.
Okay, so how do I do it? I find a new word.
You find a new word, say bewildered. Instead of your usual bilingual dictionary app, you open up something like the Oxford Learner's Dictionary or Merriam-Webster online. You find the definition, confused and puzzled.
Okay, explain in English.
Then, crucially, you immediately try to use it in a sentence that makes sense to you. The complex instructions left me feeling bewildered. The guide really hammers this point. Try to avoid those bilingual dictionaries as much as possible to break the translation habit.
Makes sense. Force yourself to stay immersed. Any advanced tips here?
Yes, don't just read the definition silently. Read the definition and the example sentences provided in the dictionary aloud. Hear yourself say them.
Okay, engage more senses.
Right. And then take it further. Create 3 of your own completely new sentences using the word in different situations or contexts. For bewildered, you might make, He gave me a bewildered look. She was bewildered by the sudden change of plans. Navigating the huge airport left me bewildered.
3 different contexts. Why 3?
It really deepens your understanding. You see how the word functions in various scenarios, which significantly helps you remember it and use it flexibly later on. It connects to the idea that noticing how language is used in different ways aids learning.
Got it. So another quick example, maybe the word essential.
Okay, essential, you look it up. Extremely important and necessary, you say that aloud. Then you create your sentences. Water is essential for life. Good communication is essential in a team. It's essential to get enough sleep. See? Different contexts, solidifying the meaning and use.
Perfect. Okay, moving on to habit 4. Think in simple English sentences. This sounds aimed at that feeling of getting mentally stuck.
It absolutely is. It's all about managing cognitive load.
Cognitive load, like brain overload.
Exactly. When you're trying to think complex thoughts in a new language, your brain is juggling so many things at once. Finding the right words, remembering grammar rules, trying to structure the sentence. It's exhausting.
Yeah, sometimes you just freeze up.
Precisely. Language paralysis. So the strategy here is to start simple. Really simple. Use short, basic sentences in your head first. This lets your brain focus on just getting the thought out fluently without getting tangled up in complex grammar.
Build confidence with the basics first.
Right. It's like building a foundation. You get comfortable with simple structures, make them automatic, then you start adding complexity. It's a well-supported idea in learning theory. Simplify the task initially to avoid overload.
So what does that look like in practice?
It means consciously catching yourself when you're thinking complex thoughts in your native language and deliberately simplifying them into basic English sentences. Instead of thinking, given the meteorological forecast predicting precipitation, I believe I shall require an umbrella, you just think, it might rain. I need an umbrella.
Okay. Much simpler.
Much. Or just internal thoughts like, I'm hungry. I need food. Work was long. I am tired. Just for maybe 5-10 minutes a day initially. While planning your day, reflecting at night, just get used to that basic internal English voice.
I can see how that would make thinking in English feel less daunting. Is there an advanced way to build on this?
Yes, use a sentence expansion technique. It's like scaffolding.
Scaffolding, like building support.
Kind of.
Yeah.
You start with a super basic sentence, then you add a little more detail, then a bit more, incrementally.
Okay.
So level 1 might be, I like pizza. Simple. Level 2, add a reason. I like pizza because it's tasty. Level 3, add more detail. I like pizza because it's tasty, especially with pepperoni.
Building it up layer by layer.
Exactly. You're gradually increasing the complexity, but always starting from a point of comfort. It keeps you in that learning zone where you're challenged but not overwhelmed.
Can you give another quick example? Maybe about the weekend?
Sure. Level 1, I saw a movie. Level 2, I saw a movie with my friend. Level 3, I saw a movie with my friend, but it wasn't very good. See how it builds. You practice connecting ideas naturally in English.
Yeah, that's really clear. And it feels like a natural lead-in to habit number 5. Engage in English inner monologue. This sounds like taking the thinking in simple sentences idea and making it constant.
Pretty much. It's about making English the default language for your internal chatter. The constant stream of thoughts we all have.
Wow, that's ambitious. Rewiring your default thinking.
It is, but it's incredibly effective. The idea is to consciously replace your native language thoughts with English ones as much as possible throughout the day. Research suggests this kind of consistent mental rehearsal really strengthens the brain pathways for English.
So you're basically running your internal operating system in English.
That's a great way to think about it, yes. It makes English feel less like a foreign tool you pick up sometimes and more like a fundamental part of how you process the world.
Okay, so how do you actually do that?
Yeah.
It sounds like it requires a lot of conscious effort.
It does, especially at first. The guide suggests starting by consciously narrating everyday thoughts and decisions in English, like getting dressed. Should I wear the red sweater or the blue one? The blue one looks better with these pants. Okay, blue it is.
Or deciding on dinner, what do I want to eat tonight? Maybe pasta. No, I had pasta yesterday. Let's have chicken.
Exactly. Start with maybe 10 minutes of deliberate inner monologue a day and try to gradually increase it as it feels more natural. It's about building awareness of your internal voice and intentionally switching the language.
Okay, start small, build up. Is there an advanced tip for this? Maybe to make it less dry?
Yeah, this one's quite fun, actually. Turn your inner monologue into a story.
A story. Starring me.
Yep. Narrate your own life as if you're the main character in an English book or movie. You could even do it in the third person. Our hero wakes up, ready to face the challenges of the day. First mission, coffee.
I like that. It makes it more creative.
It does. It taps into narrative learning principles. It makes the practice more engaging, less like a chore, and it also boosts your ability to express yourself creatively in English. You're not just thinking, you're crafting a mini narrative.
Give me another example. Maybe stuck in traffic.
Yeah, stuck in traffic. Instead of just frustration, your inner story might be. The valiant driver finds himself trapped in a sea of metal beasts. Patience is key. He observes the other drivers, wondering about their own epic journeys. Will he escape before lunchtime?
That's brilliant. Way more fun than just thinking this traffic is bad.
Right. It transforms the mundane into practice. Okay, habit 6. Immerse yourself in English media. This one feels familiar. Lots of people say watch movies.
Yeah, but how do we do it right? What's the science bit?
It's about broad, extensive exposure. When you immerse yourself in lots of different English media, movies, music, news, podcasts, you expose your brain to a huge variety of accents, vocabulary used naturally, cultural references, idioms, things you just don't get from textbooks.
So it's the sheer volume and variety.
Exactly. It helps you develop a much better intuitive feel for the language. Research shows this kind of broad exposure really accelerates comprehension, expands vocabulary naturally, and even helps you understand cultural nuances better.
Okay, so how much and what kind?
The guide suggests a solid 20-30 minutes daily. The key is variety and enjoyment. Watch movies you're genuinely interested in, listen to music you actually like, read news articles on topics that matter to you. Motivation is huge.
Makes sense. If it feels like homework, you won't stick with it.
Precisely. And a key tip, especially as you get more advanced, try turning off the subtitles in your native language. Even English subtitles can sometimes become a crutch. Try to rely on your ears as much as possible. Force your brain to process the audio directly.
Ooh, okay. That's a good challenge. No safety net. What's the advanced tip for media immersion?
This one's a bit more intense. Try having an English-only day once a week.
An entire day. Wow.
Yeah. Pick one day, maybe a Saturday or Sunday, where all your media consumption is in English. Only English movies or TV shows, only English music, only English websites or social media, English books.
Like a mini immersion trip without leaving home.
Exactly. It simulates that constant exposure you'd get living abroad. It forces your brain to stay switched on in English for an extended period. Studies show these kinds of immersive bursts can give your fluency a real significant boost.
That sounds challenging, but potentially really rewarding. Can you paint a picture?
Sure. Imagine it's your English-only Sunday. You watch a couple of episodes of a British baking show. You listen to a playlist of American pop music while you tidy up. You browse some English language forums about your hobby. You read a chapter of an English novel before bed. Throughout the day, you might pick up new slang or notice interesting phrasing, maybe hear someone say, "That's brilliant," and you make a mental note to try using it yourself later.
And you're consciously trying to use what you pick up.
Ideally, yes. Note down interesting phrases or words you encounter during your immersion day, and then try to weave them into your speaking practice or inner monologue later. It connects the input directly to your output.
Okay, intense but cool. Now, for habit 7, maybe the scariest one for some, practice conversations with native speakers.
Ah, yes. The real deal.
Why is this one so non-negotiable? Can't I just get good by listening and talking to myself?
You can get good, but real-time interaction adds a whole different dimension. It's unpredictable. It forces you to think on your feet, understand different accents in real time, ask for clarification, negotiate meaning, skills you only hone through actual conversation.
It's dynamic, not static.
Exactly. Sociocultural theories emphasize that learning really takes off during social interaction. You're not just practicing language, you're using it for its real purpose, connection, and communication. You get immediate feedback, see how your words land, learn the natural back and forth of dialogue.
Okay, I'm convinced it's important. But how? What if I don't know any native speakers or live in an English-speaking place?
That's where technology is amazing today. The guide strongly recommends language exchange platforms. Websites and apps like italki, Tandem, HelloTalk, they exist specifically to connect language learners.
How do they work?
You find native English speakers who often want to learn your native language, so you chat maybe half the time in English, half the time in their target language. It's a swap.
Okay, that sounds fair. How often?
Aim for maybe 10, 15-minute chats, 3 or 4 times a week. Keep it manageable. Talk about simple, everyday things first, hobbies, your day, weekend plans, low pressure.
And if finding live partners is tricky, time zones, schedules.
Good point. The guide suggests alternatives like joining online communities. Discord servers, specific subreddits focused on English learning or shared interests. You can have text chats, sometimes voice chats. It's still valuable interaction.
Okay, lots of options. Any advanced tips for making these conversations really count?
Prepare a little. Think about common situations, ordering coffee, talking about your job, asking directions. Maybe jot down a few key phrases or questions beforehand. Practice them alone first. These little scripts can give you confidence.
Like having a safety net.
Exactly. Also, consider asking your partner if you can record the conversation. Always ask permission first.
Why record? We talked about recording self-talk.
Same principle, but even richer feedback. Listening back to a real conversation lets you analyze your fluency, where you hesitated, any recurring errors, how natural your responses sounded, your pronunciation in context. It's gold dust for improvement.
Okay, I can see that. Example.
Let's say you're chatting about food. You say, I like eating the pizzas. Listening back, you might catch that unnecessary the. Or maybe you ask your partner, how was my pronunciation of vegetables? They give you instant feedback. That combination of real interaction and later analysis is super powerful.
Got it. Okay. Habit 8. Keep an English-speaking journal. How is this different from just talking to yourself?
It's similar, but more structured and reflective, plus it creates a record. Think of it as voice journaling.
Voice journaling.
Yeah, instead of writing in a diary, you speak it. You record yourself talking about your day, your thoughts, feelings, goals, anything really. The act of structuring those thoughts to speak them aloud reinforces vocabulary and grammar. And because you save the recordings.
You can track your progress over time.
Exactly. Research on expressive writing shows it boosts language skills, and the same applies to speaking. Plus, listening back to your recordings from weeks or months ago can be incredibly motivating. You literally hear yourself getting better.
That's cool. So how do I do it?
Dedicate about 10 minutes daily. Grab your phone, open the voice recorder, talk about your day. Today was busy. I had 3 meetings. I felt tired afterwards, but I managed to finish my report, so I'm proud. Start simple. Focus on expressing yourself, not perfection, and save those files.
Save the files. Key point. What's the advanced tip here?
Take it a step further with feedback or self-correction. You could share recordings on a platform like LangCorrect for feedback from others, or share them with a tutor if you have one.
Okay. And if I want to self-correct?
Transcribe your own recording. Listen and type out what you said. Then review the transcript. Look for errors, awkward phrases. If you said, I must to go now, you can see the error and correct it to, I must go now, or I have to go now. This makes the correction process really active and conscious.
That sounds like serious work, but I bet it's effective. Example.
You record. Yesterday, I go shopping. I buy a new shirt. Listening back or transcribing, you immediately spot the past tense errors. Should be went shopping, bought a new shirt. You make the correction, maybe re-record that bit. It really drills the correct forms.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Habit 9. Practice pronunciation with minimal pairs. Why this specific technique?
Because pronunciation is critical for being understood. Minimal pairs words that differ by just one sound, like ship and sheep, or lice and rice, are fantastic for training your ear and your mouth to notice and produce those subtle but crucial differences in English sounds.
Sounds that might not exist in your native language.
Often, yes, or sounds that are used differently. If people frequently misunderstand you, it might be down to blurring these minimal pairs. Targeted practice helps make your speech much clearer, more intelligible.
So how do I practice them?
Spend 5-10 minutes daily focusing on pairs that are tricky for speakers of your native language. There are great online resources like Rachel's English on YouTube or pronunciation websites that list common pairs and have audio examples.
And I just repeat them.
Listen carefully to the difference, then say both words aloud, exaggerating the distinguishing sounds slightly at first. Feel where your tongue is, what your lips are doing. Make the contrast really clear. Ship, sheeps, is. Really focus on producing 2 distinct words.
Okay, targeted muscle practice, advanced tip.
Use auditory feedback loops again. Record yourself saying the minimal pair words, maybe in short sentences. I saw a sheep ship. Then compare your recording immediately to a native speaker audio example.
Instant comparison.
Yes. Are you making the sounds distinct enough? Apps like ALSA Speak can even give you AI-powered real-time feedback on your pronunciation of specific sounds. This immediate feedback helps you adjust your mouth position right away and accelerates improvement.
That AI feedback sounds useful. Example of practice.
Let's take thin, and fin. A tricky pair for many. You practice saying, the fish has a thin fin. Record it. Listen back. Did your thin sound like F compared to a native speaker saying it? Adjust your tongue position for the the tip between the teeth and try again. Record, compare, adjust.
Got it. Very focused practice. Okay, last one, habit 10. Set a no translation rule for 20 minutes daily. This sounds like the ultimate challenge.
It really is a fantastic mental workout for fluency. The goal is to force your brain to operate entirely in English for a set period, completely cutting off the escape route back to your native language.
Why is that forced immersion so good?
Because it strengthens those direct English pathways like nothing else. When you can't translate, you have to find a way to express yourself using the English you already know. Cognitive research shows reducing reliance on your first language massively boosts automaticity, how quickly and effortlessly you can access and use the target language.
You're building that direct highway in your brain, no detours.
Exactly. You learn to think in English because you have no other choice for those 20 minutes.
So how do I actually enforce this rule on myself?
Pick a 20-minute slot, maybe during a walk or while doing chores, and commit. For these 20 minutes, only English thoughts, only English words if you speak aloud. If you hit a word you don't know,
Don't look it up. Don't switch languages.
nope, you have to describe it. Use circumlocution. If you forget the word kettle, you say the thing you use to boil water for tea.
Talk around it. Resourcefulness practice.
Precisely. It forces you to be creative with the vocabulary you do have. Practice during low-pressure activities where perfect communication isn't vital.
Okay, makes sense. Advanced tip.
2 things. First, gradually increase the time. Once 20 minutes feels okay, push it to 25, then 30. Build that mental stamina. Second, really embrace circumlocution as a skill. Get good at describing things when you lack the exact word. For remote control, you might say, the device for changing TV channels. This lexical flexibility is a hallmark of fluency.
So being able to communicate your meaning even with vocabulary gaps, that's a key skill. Example of this no translation rule in action.
You're tidying your room, thinking in English. Okay, put these books on the shelf. Where's the thing for cleaning the floor, the long stick with the brush? You couldn't remember broom, you described it and stayed in English mode? That's the win.
Fantastic. Okay, these 10 habits together, wow, they really cover all the bases, don't they? Listening, speaking, thinking, vocabulary, pronunciation, immersion.
They really do form a comprehensive, interconnected system. Each one supports the others.
But let's be real. Even with the best plan, people hit roadblocks. The journey isn't always smooth sailing. What are some common challenges and how do we push through?
Absolutely. One huge one is reverting to your native language. It's just so easy to slip back, especially when you're tired or stressed. The brain loves the familiar path.
It's the default setting, right? So how do we fight it?
Start small. Consciously practice thinking single English words for objects around you. Desk, window, lamp. Then move to short phrases. And here's a great practical tip from the guide. Label things in your house.
Label them with sticky notes.
Yeah. Put a label saying mirror on the mirror, kettle on the kettle, bookshelf on the bookshelf. It creates constant, low-level visual reinforcement of English vocabulary in your environment. It subtly nudges your brain towards English.
That's clever. A constant, gentle reminder. Okay, what about vocabulary gaps? Hitting a word you just don't know mid-sentence is so frustrating.
It really is. It can totally derail your train of thought or conversation. The solution: get really good at those strategies we just talked about. Circumlocution, describing around the word, and using simpler synonyms, very big instead of enormous if you forget it.
So have backup strategies ready.
Exactly. And be proactive. Keep that vocabulary notebook or app we mentioned. Actively collect new words you encounter, and this is crucial, review them daily. Just a few minutes of review consistently chips away at those gaps.
Consistency is key there. Okay, the big one. Lack of motivation. Progress feels slow, you get discouraged, maybe you want to quit.
The motivation dip. It happens to almost everyone. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint, and sometimes you feel like you're not getting anywhere.
So how do you keep going?
Track your progress actively. Listen back to those speaking journal recordings from a month ago. You will hear improvement, even if it doesn't feel like it day to day. And celebrate the small wins.
Small wins, like what?
Did you understand a joke in an English movie? Did you manage a short chat without panicking? Did you use a new word correctly? Acknowledge and appreciate these small victories. They're proof you're moving forward. And find a community.
Connect with other learners.
Yes, online forums, language exchange partners, local groups, sharing the journey, getting encouragement, seeing others persist. It makes a huge difference to morale. You're not alone.
Those are great coping strategies. Are there any more advanced tips for really sustaining progress long term once these habits are established?
Definitely. One is to simulate real-life scenarios. Go beyond general conversation practice. Think about specific, maybe slightly stressful situations where you'll need English, a job interview, giving a presentation, navigating airport security.
And practice those specifically.
Yes. Rehearse what you'd say. Practice asking for directions clearly. Practice answering common interview questions. Prepare yourself verbally and mentally for high-stakes moments. It builds huge confidence.
Very practical. What else?
Play language games. Learning doesn't have to be serious all the time. Play games like 20 questions in English. Use language learning game apps. Do word puzzles. Make it fun. Playfulness reduces pressure and encourages creative language use.
I like that. Keep it light sometimes. Anything else?
One final powerful step. Create content in English. Shift from being a consumer or just a practicer to being a creator.
Create content. What?
Record a short vlog in English about your hobby. Write a short story. Start a simple blog reviewing movies in English. Maybe just make short videos narrating your day for yourself.
Why is creating so powerful?
Because it forces you to organize complex thoughts, structure arguments or narratives, choose vocabulary precisely, pay attention to grammar, all to communicate something meaningful to others, or even just your future self. It really solidifies your skills and builds massive confidence in your expressive ability. You move from learner to active user.
Wow. Okay, this whole deep dive has been incredibly illuminating. From the why the science bit to the how, these really practical daily habits, it makes fluency feel actually reachable.
It absolutely is. When you consistently apply these habits, the active listening, speaking to yourself, the dictionary use, thinking simply then complexly, the inner monologue, media immersion, talking to natives, the speaking journal, pronunciation practice, the no translation rule, you're systematically building the skills and rewiring your brain for English.
And they all connect, reinforcing each other.
Exactly. And remember, each habit is rooted in solid principles of how we learn languages. It's not guesswork. It's a scientifically informed strategy. That's why it offers a realistic path to making significant gains, even in a relatively short time frame, like 3 months, for establishing the core habits.
What really stands out to me, and what I hope everyone listening takes away, is that it's about consistency, right? Not perfection.
Absolutely crucial. Consistency over intensity sometimes.
And embracing the mistakes. Seeing them not as failures, but as like data points showing you what to work on next.
Precisely. Mistakes are essential for learning. They're just feedback. Every single one is a step forward if you learn from it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe the final thought for you listening is this. Reflecting on all these habits, all these strategies, what's one small thing, just one tiny habit from today's discussion that you feel you could realistically start doing? Maybe even right now or tomorrow morning.
Yeah, just pick one to begin with.
Because that single step, that first consistent action, that's where the journey to fluency really begins. The power to transform your English really does lie in those small daily habits.